going on, folks? Today we need to fix the furnace. Woke up this morning and it felt kind of cold in the house, so came down to check the furnace and it was not running. I could kick the fan on and the fan would run fine, but it was not lighting. No pilot light could be seen, nothing like that. So today is my wife's birthday and she needs to be warm. So we're gonna try to fix this. Let me show you what I've done to troubleshoot and at least figure out what the problem is. I figured out what the problem is already, and I'll show you what I went through to do that. So this lid comes off, you just lift it up and that swings out. And then we get into this. And actually, real quick, if you turn this around, this has some instructions here for lighting the pilot light, which in this case, you do not need to do. It automatically does that for you. So that was not our issue. Wasn't just burning a pilot light. But this wiring diagram, which may come in handy later, is almost falling off. And if you look, that would sit right about here on the lid. It was drooped over, and right there is where the flames are. So we're gonna get that tacked up a little better too. But anyway, so first thing I did was come in here and look for a pilot light. Didn't see one, but then read the instructions and saw that that's okay. The pilot is supposed to light itself, and didn't see anything else immediately wrong with it. But maybe it's a gas supply issue. So I came over here to the water heater, which is also gas, and just look down in here. You can see that pilot light's on, and then I just take this on to go a little hotter, see if I can make that fire on, and it does. So put that back to where it was, so we know it's not a gas supply issue. So I also, yes, just all furnaces have a switch down here, perfect child height for some reason. So I turned that off and on as well. Nothing came back on. So then I started just kind of tracing some wires, just wiggling things to see if anything would kick back on as I'm, trying to wiggle around these wires. And as I'm doing this, I started to feel a lot of heat right here, and then realized that it's cooled off now, but this was so hot I couldn't touch it. So that is clearly the problem. That should never be that hot. That's just a blower motor, right? But it's not the main blower motor. This one is the exhaust blower motor, and you figure that out because look where it goes. Exhaust right up here, all the way down here, a little zigzag and out of the house. So did a little Googling. This is the first time I've ever worked on a furnace, by the way. Googled exhaust blower and figured out that it's actually called an induction motor, because it is what forces air across the flames and allows it to that makes the fire happen. So so then looked right here for the furnace model number. Did some Googling on that. That didn't turn up much. Then looked on there. It's upside down, but saw the model number for the motor, and that did turn up a bunch of options online. So now let's go look at that. So once I figured out what the part was that I needed to replace, I came up and did some Googling and just looking for HVAC suppliers. And I called a couple of them, and they are wholesale only. They will only, they won't sell to an individual. So that's frustrating. But as you're talking on the phone to them, you just ask, well, where could I buy one of these? Where can a homeowner that's cold on their wife's birthday find this part that we would need? And they gave me a couple ideas. One was Ferguson, another was Granger, and of course we checked Amazon as well, and I'll show you what we found. Okay, so the first place I looked at is Granger, and here it is. This is exactly what we need. Fastgo A173, that's what we gotta have. $500. That is a bummer. But what's even more of a bummer, expected to arrive Monday, March 10th. Today is Friday, March 7th. So that's no good. I gotta have it today. But we're obviously set to ship to our location. So, well, we're willing to go pick it up, right? We'll do whatever it takes. So let's change this to pickup. Oh, Tuesday, March 11th. What is going on? It takes longer for me to go and get it myself. Okay, so that might not be an option. So the next place I tried is is Ferguson, and they were very helpful. They do not have one available locally, but they did let me know that I could go down to their location in Illinois and pick one up. A very similar price. I think it was an extra $30 or something, but they do have it available. Unfortunately, it's almost 2 hours one way to get there, plus tolls and everything else. It's on the southwest side of Chicago. So that's our option, though, to get this done today. But checking out Amazon real quick, look at these prices. This is way more better than $500. Problem is, Tuesday, March 11th. Let's see. Sunday, March 9th. Okay, maybe. That's better. March 12th. Yeah, so I gotta call my wife and see what we're gonna do. Are we gonna wait, save a bunch of money, and deal with it for a couple of days, or do I go to Chicago today? All right, talk to Jesse. We got to get this done today. Looked at the weather. It's going to get down to 20 degrees tonight, so we got to get it done. However, it occurred to me it's still really early. A lot of these HVAC places are not open yet. So I think I'm going to wait a little bit, I'm going to take a shower, have some coffee, then make a few more phone calls. I want to try to find some of these smaller HVAC places that that would maybe sell me a part locally. So that might save me a little bit. I also have a buddy that works in HVAC. I'm going to give him a call and see if he can help me out. But yeah, that's the plan. I'll let you know what happens next. I've had a shower, had some coffee, made a fire, did some more calling around and searching, and I was able to find this part on Facebook Marketplace for $200. So that makes me really happy. Problem is, it's still in Chicago, and a guy can't meet me till 3 o'clock. So that means, best case, I'm back here about 5 o'clock. And doesn't leave me a whole lot of time to get this fixed or to pivot. If this turns out to not be the problem, I'm pretty confident it is, and we're going to check one more thing right now to make sure. But it just, if it doesn't work, then that'll be a bummer. There won't be any more time today to figure out another solution. So, but I'm going to take that gamble and we'll see. Anyway, what I'm going to do now, I've got a meter, and I just want to check one more thing to see if this motor is actually bad. It's possible there's something obstructing the blades in here. I don't know. I want to make sure that this is the problem. So I've identified the supply wires, the white and black. This would be hot and neutral in an AC current. So this is just by color alone. This tells me this is the supply, the electrical feed to the motor. And then just looking at the others quickly, this would be a safety ground to the chassis, and then these two run to the back here to what looks like a sensor. So anyway, so this is what we're going to check. Just going to undo these wire nuts. I have the furnace shut off with the toddler switch, and I also have the breaker turned off. I also have the gas turned off. So we should be good to go. So I'm going to do here, if this motor is bad, then that means there should not be a complete circuit any longer from hot back to neutral. So we're just going to do a quick continuity check on these, and if they are, if we're getting continuity, that means the motor is good, and there's something else. And then we might dive into this and see if there's some obstruction in the blades or something. But so I'm going to put this on continuity. That's the one that looks like horseshoes. So if I just touch these together, it tells me 0 ohms. That means there's no resistance at all, which is correct. I'll probably get some resistance just through the wires alone, but let's see what this says. This is telling me 21, 22 ohms. So that's not bad, actually. That makes me want to dive in just a little bit deeper. And we've got some time before we have to leave for Chicago, so I think I might just do that. Yeah, we're going to have to take this off anyway to put the new one on. So let's take this off, I think, and just see what we can see. I should probably give a little disclaimer. If this had anything to do with the gas lines, I'd probably, this is the igniter right here, I'd probably tackle that if I had to, but if I were touching anything that involved gas here, I would call someone. Not comfortable with that, but this looks to me like I'm just pulling out this blower motor, putting a new one in, and as well as this whole shroud and everything should come with the new motor. So this seems easy enough. I think we can get it done. Wasn't quite as gentle as I had hoped. Okay, this looks pretty simple. Looks like I just need to pop these tabs off all the way around and this should split apart. Okay. Look at that. That is, spins free. I'll bet the motor is good, but it was getting hung up on this. Yep. This is all broken. Yeah, all this big old crack in it. So that's the problem. Oh yeah, this thing is cracked all the way down here. completely cracked in half. Look at that. Whole thing splits. So that's the problem. I'm guessing that was caused by this moisture in here. Wonder how we can prevent that. Or let me know. Maybe you HVAC guys, maybe this is normal. I don't know. I'm even seeing by camera up, even in the inlet all the way in there. I can see moisture. So it's coming in there and going out. Yeah. I don't know, because the way that this, let me show you this here. The way this is set up is that any moisture, like I said, this is going to get condensation in it, this exhaust pipe. And so if this does, it drips down past where it comes in, right here, drips all the way down to the bottom. And then I'm guessing, you know, once the water level gets high enough, then it drains out here and goes down through the slab. So, I don't know, is this clogged? Looks good in there. Well, I'll do a bit of research on that. I'll get back to you. All right, several hours later, trip to Chicago, and I'm back with the new part. The only interesting thing about this is this one comes with a new thingamajig. This thing back there, I think I mentioned earlier, I thought maybe it was a relay or something. It's actually just a capacitor. I verified that in the wiring diagram. And this one apparently comes with a new one. So we're going to swap that out. Alright, shop vac's almost dead. That's cool. Okay. Got these zip tied on. I grab a snips. It's always something. One more tool. Like a glove. There. I put my headlamp. Were you guys watching? Didn't I ask you to keep an eye on where I set things down? All right. Oh, there it is in my pocket. Sweet. That's good. Just loosely in there. Ground. In my drive to Chicago and back, I had a lot of time to think about what may have caused this. And the only thing I can think of is it had to be something to do with that drain, that condensation drain. That must have gotten clogged up, and maybe as I was fussing with it, I didn't get it on camera, but I took this off right here. This is what was in there. It's just screwed in there. And what I don't know is there's this float in here. It sits that this has a little elbow on the inside, and this just sits on top of there. And on newer ones, on newer furnaces, there will be a on On the trap here, there'll be a float switch. So if this does start to float, it'll hit a switch and turn off the furnace. So you know to come and unclog it. In this case, there's obviously no wires or anything. I have no idea what this float would be for. When it's screwed in here, it sits just below where the exhaust goes in there. So if it does float at all, it starts to restrict the flow of exhaust. And I'm not really sure what that would do. Maybe there's a sensor that reads the resistance on this and that could trigger a fault. I don't know. That seemed kind of high tech for this old furnace. But if you guys know what this float is meant to be for, please let me know. We're going to clean this up a little more. And it has to be that this got clogged up. It's not clogged anymore. I can blow through it and everything, but we're going to clean it up more. And I don't know what else could have caused that. Anyway, let's keep going. We'll find out in a few days, I guess, if it doesn't start again. Right, it's in there. It's in there. Let's go upside here. Right. This new one came with these spade connections for the main power lines. We're just gonna, since we don't have those on this side, I guess I could. Do I have some of those? Nah, the kids are cold. We're gonna do it the way it was. Strip this off. Okay, everything's hooked back up. Before I put the drain back on and tidy up the wires and everything, I'm gonna go flip the switch and just see if it works. And then if it does, we'll clean up all this stuff and it'll be good to go. I gotta put this panel back on. It won't run if this switch is not depressed. So okay, moment of truth. How well are we gonna sleep tonight? Breaker's turned on. Gas valve is back on. I'm gonna hit the toddler switch. And then this gas line also needs to be on. I hear it humming. May have to go hit adjust the thermostat. May reset. Go check the thermostat. You guys keep an eye on this, okay? Okay, yep, the thermostat was set to off, so flipped it over to heat. Give this thing just a minute to figure its life out. Should be good to go. Waiting. Nervously waiting. I'm going to screw this back on. temporarily because we are gonna, this exhaust gas, of course. Oh, here we go. Is it gonna light? Oh yeah. There it is, folks. We have heat. There's nothing I touched in there just now. It's just the amount of time I needed to think about it, I guess. Cool. I'll shut it back off and we'll tighten it back up. Okay. Very good news. Awesome. Just grabbed a few zip ties. I'll clean this up. Really happy I found this guy on Facebook. I actually I called a couple service places to see if I could get an idea of a quote and a timeline. None of them could really give me a solid answer. All they said is, well, no guarantees, but, we have replaced entire furnaces in a day, it's very possible. I'm pretty confident, but no guarantees. Like, well, could you at least tell me if you have the right part in stock? Like, that'll be a pretty big factor. No, I don't know. A service guy will have to come out and take a look. Like, well, anyway, so that was, and then, so I couldn't really get an accurate quote, but I looked up some prices online, and honestly, $500 for the part I was going to go to Chicago to get, plus the gas and the time and everything, it was pretty close to some of the estimates I was seeing online. I almost pulled that trigger, and then I saw this one on Facebook for $200, and that did it for me anyway. So here we are. Saved a bunch of money. Now, I did obviously have to take a day off work. I'm blessed to be able to do that. So to each his own. Everyone's got their own situation, but this one worked out for the best. So now, if this fails in another day, I'll post an update. But I think we're going to be good with this. All right, just going to clean this out properly. Put it back on. Oh, that's the wrong way. And then we should be good to go. I was thinking too, this is the exhaust, from the burned gas, which you obviously don't want in your house. I think obviously this is meant to be full. That's why the drain isn't all the way at the bottom. This has to be full to make sure that the gases go up that way and not out the drain. So another realization I had on that drive. Again, though, I'm not really sure what this float is supposed to do. Like I said, it sits in here right there, and then if it were to start floating, it would just come and restrict this airflow. What that would accomplish, I have no idea. So anyway, it's not going to be very interesting watching me clean this disgusting thing. So, that's gross. Yep. So I'll stop the video there. Thanks for joining in. Okay, a little follow-up message. It's been a couple weeks now. This has not failed, so I'm pretty happy about that. I'm still not super confident what the problem was, because if I take off this little sensor and shine a light in here, I can still see. You won't be able to see it on the camera, but I can still see just little droplets of moisture in there. I don't know how normal that is, but there's still some moisture in there. So I would love some advice on that. Anyone can let me know, but it's not it's not failed, and I can't hear like water swishing around in there or anything. And a bit of a correction. In the beginning of the video, I called this an induction motor, which is technically correct, but that refers to specifically the kind of motor, like how the motor uses electricity to spin, is what that technically means. But in this case, with the job that it's doing within the furnace, this is actually called an inducer motor, or the inducer blower, whatever you want to say, because it induces the flames. It creates the draft over the flames in order to ignite. So that's why this will kick on first, to get the flames going before the main blower kicks on to your house. So, a little correction there. And regarding the exhaust here, so this is, forget the term for it, but most houses you'll see an exhaust and like an in and an out pipe on the side of your house for your furnace. And in this case, there's only one. There's just an exhaust, which means this furnace pulls air from within the house to make the draft across the flames, which is fine as far as I can tell from reading. That's perfectly fine to do, but I'm curious, and I'd love to know what you guys think. That technically, by doing that, by sucking air from inside the house and then blowing it outside the house, you'd be creating at least a little bit of negative pressure within the house, which I would think would contribute at least just a little bit to some inefficiency, with cold air coming in through windows and things like that. If you have negative pressure inside your house and the walls aren't sealed well, like this old house is not, then I would think that might cause a little more cold air drafts from windows and stuff. But love to know your opinion on that. Could be totally wrong. Let's see what else. I also said that I had no idea what the float in here was meant to do, and whether or not this furnace was high tech enough to read whatever resistance might be on this blower. Turns out it is. Actually, what this hose right here is doing, this is just a plastic hose that's plugged into the back here, and this runs up to this sensor, and it literally just reads the pressure. So it if this is completely blocked here and it's not able to build up pressure in there to make this sensor happy, then it will shut off. It won't allow the furnace to start. So that's exactly what that is. I found the manual to the furnace, and that's how I discovered that. In addition, this sensor here is a heat sensor, and this is also connected to this heat sensor. So this senses the heat directly over the flames and compares it to what's inside the blower. And if there's a super big offset from there, then that will also shut off the furnace. So thought that was neat. Now on to this, the vent and what may be leading to all the condensation. Reading through this, this actually has some really good installation instructions for the vent here. So this says the max vent length is 60 feet. We're well within that without any 90-degree elbows. The maximum vent length must be reduced by 5 feet for each 90-degree elbow used. So we're still fine with that. We're not more than 25 feet all the way out of the house here. So then it says with a max of 4 90-degree elbows being permitted in any vent arrangement. So I think that might be where we're running into trouble. So this says max 4 90-degree elbows. Well, let's count them. We've got one there, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that would seem to be too many. Let me know what you think about that. Might have to hack that off and just maybe rotate this one upside down. I don't know. Yeah, that's what I discovered. Thought you guys might want to know. So we might as well roll right into talking about an upcoming project. And it's going to be working on the siding, the stone veneer. I'm going to power wash all the sides of the house this year. And I'm going to go through with some color matched caulk and just kind of seal up some little cracks in the mortar. Overall, it's in pretty good shape. But if you look up this chimney here, which is in really bad shape, you know, that's the kind of stuff I think caulk probably won't even fill in a lot of that. So yeah, need to get stop the water from coming in there and, you know, further pushing out those stones. But what I'm wondering, after I get done washing all the siding, what is there anything I can do to help protect the stone veneer? Is there a you know, some kind of a clear coat we can spray over it? I don't know, you know, that kind of thing. Let me know what you think.